The other point I want to make is that could we have another madhab today? Is it possible to have another madhab today after the four great madhahib of the past? Is it possible? Technically possible? Well, theoretically it is possible, theoretically. However, I'll tell you what the problem with it is. Today, if somebody wanted to start a madhab, they would take all the Quran and all the database of all of the hadith that that is available today, and they will say, okay, these are the masail of salat, these are the masail of zakat, and so on. Now the problem with this is that they will be basing their madhab on pure theory, only on text. They don't have a practical living manifestation of the sunnah. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi, as was just described by Mufti Salman Sahib as well, that Imam Abu Hanifa, he saw Sahaba. The people he was living with were tabi'in. He was a tabi'i himself. These are the people who had inherited the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How Islam was practiced in Medina Munawwara, that is what he saw in Kufa. So if he couldn't understand the hadith, he would see how it is outside, openly being practiced. Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi, in front of him, he had the amal of the Ahlul Medina, which means he had the practice of the people of Medina, which he considered to be evidence. Because this was the same practice only 100 years after the Prophet ﷺ, 150 years, within 150 years of these people were working at that time. It was still a living tradition. Can you show me any place in the world where the sunnah is practiced, where you can show me how Islam was practiced in the way it was practiced in Medina Munawwara? Can you show me any place in the world where it's practiced like this today? So if I have all the hadith at my disposal, I will only have text. I will not have any practical demonstration. So my madhab will be inferior to any of the madhabs of the past. Because those madhabs, they also took practice into consideration. Okay, another point. Because of the shortness of time, this is a bit of a roller coaster ride, but hopefully you will appreciate. I do have this in more detail on my website, zamzamacademy.com. There's a full detail of this on there, which if you're interested, you can look at that later. Another question that generally is asked is that there's so many weak hadith, da'if hadith that are used by the Hanafis, for example, and Shafi'is and so on. So why do you base your masail and your madhab on weak hadith? Well, look at this. Imam Bukhari rahmatullah, when did he die? He died around 256 Hijri, approximately 256. When did Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah pass away? Over 100 years before that, 150. That's when he passed away. The narrators, the rawis, the narrators of hadith that Imam Abu Hanifa took from are above the narrators, at least 2 generations before Imam Bukhari. So it is likely that the hadith is sahih right now. But then between Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Bukhari rahmatullah's time, a weak narrator continues to transmit that hadith, so Imam Bukhari rejects it. Imam Abu Hanifa is taking sahih narrations. But when it gets down after 1 century, the narrators of the 4th or 5th level, they are now weak. That's why Imam Abu Hanifa rejects it. So you would have to undergo a really in-depth study to really say that these ahadith were weak at the time of Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi. That's why these are complicated issues. Now another thing that I want to mention is that Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi said, إِذَا صَحَّ الْحَدِيث فَهُوَ مَذْهَبِي. If a hadith is sahih, then it is my madhab. Some of the imams have known also to say, if you see a sahih hadith that goes against my opinion, then throw my opinion away and take the sahih hadith. So now every Tom, Dick and Harry, every Amr, Bakr and Umar, they think they have the ability to do this. Who was Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi speaking to when he said this? Who was Imam Shafi'i addressing when he gave this advice? He was speaking to his students, the ulama, and he was saying, yes, if you find another sahih hadith after me, and you have the right to look at hadith because you are muhaddithin, then you can do this. But am I allowed to do this? Is anybody allowed to do this? Just because somebody tells them you have a Sahih hadith and they don't even know Arabic, they just have a translation of Bukhari or something like this. Do you understand what I'm saying? The complicated procedure here? Right. So when he says that if a hadith is Sahih, then drop my madhab and take the Sahih hadith, he is speaking to his students, the ulama, the fuqaha, the muhaddithin. That's who he's speaking to, not just anybody on the street. That's